Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Early this morning, Sundance Oliver, the suspect in 2 homicides and another non-fatal shooting, was arrested by members of the New York City Police Department. We searched for him yesterday morning after he was identified as the suspect in the shooting of a 96-year-old man in a wheelchair during an attempted robbery of another individual in Crown Heights. Our search intensified as he became the prime suspect in a homicide in Lower Manhattan yesterday afternoon, and then another fatal shooting back in Brooklyn shortly after midnight today. With the dragnet pulling tighter, Oliver turned himself in to officers in the 7-7 precinct. This arrest was the culmination of several different investigative elements and solid police work. We marshaled the collective efforts of our detectives and patrol officers across multiple boroughs and commands, all focused on finding this individual before he could harm anyone else. I want to thank them for their consistently outstanding work, which is a steady reminder that NYPD officers are the very best at what they do. But I also want to thank 2 other critical components in investigations like these, and that's the New York City media and the public we serve. Through our early morning press conference, our reach on social media, and the eyes and ears of everyone in our community, we were able to safely and quickly take him into custody. This subject has been arrested several times in the past. Today, we begin the process of holding this brazen offender accountable for his actions and delivering justice for his victims, his family, and loved ones. We will never stop working to end violence in our city, and we will relentlessly pursue anyone who puts the people of this city at risk. Sundance Oliver is now off our streets. Now we must keep him off. I'll turn it over to Chief of Detectives James Essig, who will provide further details about this case, this subject, and the investigation that led to this arrest. Chief Essig.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today at 7 a.m., Mr. Sundance Oliver, a male 28 years old with a date of birth of July 12, 1994, who resides at 180 South Street, Manhattan, that's the Smith Housing Developments, surrendered to the police at the 77th Precinct. Mr. Oliver was actively sought by NYPD personnel after a 3-day violent rampage which resulted in 2 homicides, 1 non-fatal shooting, 1 robbery, and 1 assault, which was domestic related. These incidents spanned across 3 boroughs, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Manhattan, and culminated in his arrest after a massive and extensive search. The following is a timeline of events as we know them. So on Monday, November 21st at 2 p.m., at 653 Kingsborough Walk, Mr. Oliver is involved in a robbery of a male along with 4 other individuals who are as yet to be identified. They attack a male and remove $4,450 in U.S. currency. We ID Mr. Oliver in that crime on December 3rd. On Friday, December 2nd, at 5:55 p.m., in front of 444 Ralph Avenue, a Mr. Brandon Hampton is arrested and charged with reckless endangerment, where he fires a shot at a moving vehicle. We believe Mr. Oliver is in that moving vehicle. On Saturday, December 3rd at 1:45 a.m. at 4123 3rd Avenue in the Bronx, Oliver gets into an argument with his girlfriend where he punches her in the face, causing injuries. The next day on December 4th at 8 p.m., again in front of 444 Ralph Avenue, which is a bodega, Mr. Oliver points a gun at a complainant removing property. When the complainant runs into the bodega, Oliver fires 2 shots. He then gets behind the counter and removes $3,560 and flees. 2 9mm shell casings are recovered at that scene. The next day, December 5th, he begins his killing and bloodshed. At 9:30 a.m. in the rear of 154 Kingsbury Walk, he approaches a female and demands $50. This female is the girlfriend of Brandon Hampton, who was previously arrested for firing shots at Oliver. The female flees, one shot is fired, and a 96-year-old male, an unintended target, was struck in the right leg. One 9mm shell casing was recovered. Later that day, at 2:40 p.m., at 15 St. James Place, which is the Smith housing development, a 20-year-old male is shot and killed in apartment 6B. Witnesses known to us ID the perpetrator as Sundance Oliver. 7 9mm shell casings are recovered at that scene. On Tuesday, December 6th, at 10 minutes past 12 midnight, at 719 Kingsbury Walk, apartment 6D, a 17-year-old female is shot and killed. Witnesses in the apartment once again ID the perpetrator as Sundance Oliver. Recovered at that scene are 2 9mm shell casings. At this point in the investigation, we know that both homicide victims are known to our perpetrator, but the motive is not yet known at this time as to why he killed them, and the investigation continues. Mr. Sundance Oliver is a male, 28 years old. He has 12 prior arrests and is known to us as a PD gang member. PD gang is a robbery crew that operates in and around the Kingsborough housing development. In September of 2020, he's arrested for a loaded firearm. In 2014, he has arrests of menacing, attempted murder, where during the course of a robbery he fires shots, and 2 other times for robbery. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 5 years post-release. In 2013, he's arrested for aggravated harassment, resisting arrest, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. In 2012 for criminal possession of a weapon, and in 2010 for a gang assault. After his surrender, he was placed in the 7-7 precinct holding cells, where he became extremely violent and agitated, destroying property. Emergency service unit personnel subdued him, and he is currently in Kings County Hospital for evaluation. At this time, he is being charged with 3 counts of robbery in the 2nd degree. 1 for the November 21st robbery, 1 for the December 4th robbery at the bodega, 1 for the December 5th robbery of the female, and the attempted murder on 12/5 for the 96-year-old shot in the leg. Additional charges are pending as we work through this case. With that, we'll take questions.
All right, Dean Moses, could you go into more detail about the violence outburst he had at the precinct? And the outburst he had at the precinct, could you tell me what caused that?
Excuse me?
The outburst he had at the precinct, the violent outburst?
He was just in the cells. He was agitated, violent, picked up, broke some chairs or benches, and he was subdued by emergency service unit.
Christina?
When he surrendered at the precinct, did he make any statements to detectives at all?
No, we haven't been able to talk to him.
Rocco?
Chief, when he got arrested, he was shot over the summer and was arrested the same day, gun on him or near him. The case was either declined or deferred prosecution. Is that clear and white? Is that he might have been violated had those charges gone forward at the time?
Yeah, that we can't comment on that. You'd have to talk to the Brooklyn DA's
I mean, is
office.
that case still, as far as you know, is that investigation still open?
No, that investigation is closed.
It is closed.
Yes.
Stefan?
Chief, can you expand on the relationship between the 2 victims?
So the victim in Manhattan, the 20-year-old victim, he's friends with, he's an associate with. Sources tell us that they used that house to smoke marijuana in the apartment. In the Kingsborough houses, the most recent homicide, our victim is in the apartment, but there's another 17-year-old male in that apartment who he is friendly with, and he smokes marijuana in that apartment too. She's just a girl in the apartment. Yes.
All right, we got anybody else?
So, Chief, when he goes to the Smith houses, why is he looking for Langston yesterday? What prompted, what prior beef did they have, and when was it, if it's clear?
We don't believe they had a prior beef. He knows the Smith houses because his mother lives in the Smith houses, and he knows Langston. So he's friendly with Langston. He uses that apartment with Langston to smoke marijuana.
And his family was in that apartment as well, the victim's family?
The guardian. The guardian
The guardian of the victim.
of the victim, yes.
And so he forces his way in, or is it?
No force in there. He knows those two apartments. He frequents those two apartments. He knows the 21-year-old. He knows the 17-year-old male in the other apartment. He does not force himself in. He goes in there. He frequents those apartments, and he smokes marijuana.
So he doesn't go after the others in the apartment, he just
No.
smokes between sheets?
Yes, correct.
Right, we're gonna move with John Doyle.
Chief, do you recall the weapon that he used in his crimes?
No, and we're asking for anybody with information to get that weapon to us. He shows up at the precinct without the weapon. We need to find that weapon. So anybody, we're asking the public's information, help in finding that
I got,
weapon.
let's do two more questions. Lisa?
Chief, how did he come to be connected with the gang here in Kingsborough?
We have him identified about 10 years ago as a gang member. The PD gang member, like I said, was a robbery crew who operated in and around the Kings. He's very well known to the local precinct and to the Patrol Bar Brooklyn North personnel.
All right, this is gonna be our last question, Victoria.
Are you looking for anybody else in connection?
No, at this time, we are not looking for anybody. We believe through witness statements and ballistics, we believe Oliver acted alone in this.
All right, thank you everyone for your time and attention.